On February 23rd, 2005, Nike released the Dunk SB Pigeon, and that would change sneaker culture forever.
There's a footwear frenzy going on in the city right now. A special sneaker made just for New York is in such high demand, people are fighting to own a pair of these things.
For the first time, we saw people camp outside stores days before the releases. People flew in from different states and even countries, all hoping to get their hands on one of these. But there was nothing but one problem. Only 150 shoes were produced, and they were all spread throughout 5 different stores in New York City. You can guess how it ended. Fistfights, riots, and the police had to intervene. The few people who were able to get their hands on a pair of shoes were met outside by local thugs and gang members and had to be escorted by the police to their homes. The Dunk Pigeon didn't change sneaker culture design-wise, but the coverage of the before and after of the shoe releases in the news really shone a light on the world unknown to most until then. Sneaker culture. Most people could not understand why people would act this way over a pair of shoes, but just one day after their release, the Pigeon Dunks were on eBay for over $1,000. This single event birthed sneaker culture as we know it today.
You will not believe all the reports of violence that broke out when people rushed to get the newest pair of Air Jordans. A crowd busted through this door in Indiana, and remember, as you're watching these pictures, this is all over shoes.
Of course, people bought and sold sneakers before, but it wasn't as common. It was mostly collectors. The release of the Dunk Pigeon and its coverage in the news made it mainstream. Some people came in for the love of sneakers, and others because they saw an opportunity to make money. This event was 10 years before the creation of StockX. Before websites like StockX, eBay and Craigslist were the only places used by sneakerheads to buy, sell, and trade sneakers online. But there were a couple of problems with these platforms. The first problem was that there wasn't a set price for items. Neither the buyer nor the seller had a concrete idea of the product's worth. The second issue? Well, it was that there was no guarantee of the authenticity of what you bought. This was back in the day, so fakes weren't as good as they are today, but if you weren't into sneakers, you could have easily been fooled. So when in 2015 StockX was launched, these were the issues they were aiming to fix. StockX was founded in 2015 by Josh Luber, Greg Schwartz, Dan Gilbert, and Chris Kaufman. Luber was born in the late 70s, and like a lot of other kids who grew up in the 80s and 90s, he witnessed the rise of sneaker culture. After his studies, he ended up working for IBM, and it is while looking at their data over there that he saw what was missing from the eBay sneakers market. So in the early 2010s, with the help of a friend, he set out to design a big search engine for sneakers, and created a webpage called Campless. This was meant to be a sort of stock market for sneakers. Campless collected data from eBay transactions and gave customers and sellers real-time value of their sneakers, and this quickly became popular among sneakerheads. By that time, sneaker reselling was growing, but it's still far from what it is today. These were the days of eBay, Craigslist, Foot Lockers, Champions, and SneakerCon. But another sneaker release would change all of that. The Nike Air Foamposite 1 All-Star Galaxy. It created so much hype and chaos around the country that many release events ended up being cancelled. Thousands of people in many cities were at mall doors waiting for the release. In this particular video posted on YouTube on February 24th, 2012, the caption reads, "At midnight, Nike released the Foamposite Galaxy for $220. These shoes can be resold the next day for over $10,000 via eBay, Craigslist, Amazon, etc."
This is worse than Yeezys, man. This is worse.
Times 10. Wait till the Yeezys come out.
People in New York have been camped out since Friday. This is ridiculous.
Many people, including Josh Luber, saw the increasing hype around sneakers as an opportunity to make money. Billionaire and owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Dan Gilbert had already taken steps to create a platform for sneaker reselling when he heard about Campless. After meeting with Luber, he decided to buy Campless from him and then hired him as the CEO of the company. In February 2016, StockX was launched. It described itself as a solution for people looking to sell their unique sneakers, and for buyers, it presented itself as a middleman, guaranteeing authenticity to them and setting prices for items on the market. So, how does the solution now become the problem?
I am no longer going to be using StockX.
Stop buying from StockX.
StockX just want to be able to sell fakes in peace.
So it seems like StockX is the most hated company in the sneaker game right now, but why?
Before we talk about the fakes, the poor customer service, and the Nike lawsuits, let's talk about the impact of StockX on the sneakers game. StockX is not the only reselling platform, but it is by far the most popular and most reseller-friendly of them all. You can track prices easily, just like in the stock market, learn when to buy and sell for a profit, which personally I don't see a problem with, but StockX also opened the door for mass resellers. Today, anything labeled limited edition gets sniped by bots and is being resold for way over retail. Nothing is special when everything is treated as special. The line between retail and resale is practically blurred at this point due to bots or backdoor sales. Look at the Dunks, for example. There have been countless releases of Dunks over the last couple of years, yet almost none of them sells for retail price. Bots weren't anything new for the sneaker game, but they reached another level when resale websites came into the scene. We can't fully blame StockX on this matter, as there are other reselling apps. The companies letting this happen are also part of the problem. The bots, the resellers, and the list goes on. Now let's talk about the actual problems with their services. One of the main reasons people left platforms like eBay and Craigslist for StockX were the guarantee of authenticity by StockX. Though it might be more costly, at least you had peace of mind about whether you were purchasing authentically, right? Right? Well, if you browse the internet, you will stumble on countless stories about people either receiving fake or even receiving a different product than what they ordered.
Lost $800 buying a pair of Yeezys off of StockX. Are not reflective.
Many people bought products and passed the verification the first time, but then were rejected when they tried to resell them on StockX. Stories about worn or damaged items.
Been worn, man. Bro, these have definitely been worn. Bro, it's mud on these joints.
Are all these stories true? Maybe or maybe not. But they are plausible because the authentication process at StockX isn't done by some kind of super infallible machine. They're done by humans. And humans aren't perfect, and so the system is bound to have a fake slip in between the cracks. According to the company co-founder himself, a single person can authenticate up to 50 to 60 pairs of sneakers in an hour. For such an important part of your business, you're just setting yourself up for failure with that. So yes, mistakes are bound to happen. So what matters now is how you plan on resolving the issues. Well, StockX customer service is close to non-existent. According to comments by customers, they take about a week to respond. They also have a non-return policy. They sometimes refuse to take back wrong orders and tell people to just resell them instead on StockX. Many people who have disputed orders for receiving fakes reported getting their accounts blocked. With all of this, it seems that things will just keep on getting worse as StockX fired 8% of their employees in June of this year, and another 5% this month while announcing more fees. This $300 pair of sneakers on their website comes off at a total of $360 after tax, fees, and shipping. Over the years, StockX has had many other issues. Back in July 2019, the company sent out an email asking users to reset their passwords, claiming it was for a system update. But come to later find out, it was a data breach impacting more than 6.8 million users. Many accounts were hacked and had their data, which included name, addresses, and credit card information, sold on the dark web. StockX ended up settling with the people affected and paid over $130,000 in damages. Since early this year, the company has also been waging a legal battle with Nike over NFTs. Back in January, StockX introduced their NFT sneakers. A customer could pay for a StockX Vault NFT, which represents proof of ownership of the actual sneakers stored within StockX's special vault. Basically, the NFT was a receipt of actual sneakers that StockX kept for you that you could sell or redeem for the actual thing later. Well, Nike wasn't too happy about it. When Nike sued StockX, it claimed the NFTs infringed on its trademarks and would be confusing to customers. Then, in an amended complaint, Nike said it bought 4 pairs of counterfeit shoes from December to February. It then accused StockX of knowingly selling counterfeits. I wish Nike would have said exactly how many sneakers they bought to get 4 fakes so we would have a better perspective on the matter. All this bad publicity led to StockX's drop in popularity in recent years, while its competitors kept on growing. But here's the kicker. Besides the Nike lawsuit and the data breach, almost everything said about StockX's service has been said about any other reselling app.
Police! Police! Help! Police! Help!
It seems that only StockX's reputation has been tarnished. Personally, I think it's mostly their doing. The idea of the company was genius, but the company became too big too fast. Less than 4 years after its creation, the startup was valued at over $1 billion and quickly became the biggest reselling platform, but it couldn't keep up with the many promises it made to its customers. There's clearly a lack of trained personnel because 1 minute to verify the authenticity of a product with just eyes is not enough. This is even crazier when we know that 2 sneakers made by the same retailers can look different. I read somewhere on Reddit from a supposed employee that they mostly check the boxes because that's where the manufacturers of fakes are negligent. We know that fake sneakers get through these platforms because no secondary platform can provide a 100% guarantee that every product sold is legitimate. And fake sneakers are increasingly hard to differentiate from the real thing. So if you shop from any of these apps, know that there is a certain risk, even though it is small, receiving a fake. The only way you can be guaranteed authenticity is if you buy directly from a retailer.
Well, good luck with that.
Well, that sums up today's video. Leave a like, subscribe, leave some comments. I'll see you soon. Peace!
If you're saying that you guys have a better success rate than Flight Club, how come I never see stories about fakes from Flight Club?
So I don't know.